I'm Peter Blackwood. On paper I'm the standby props, but I think I'm more of a construction manager on this one.
And I'm Paddy Reardon, I'm the production designer, also art director, sort of part-time standby props. Well, what we did on this film is provide all the settings for the film, so from the treehouse to the graveyard to all the props, worked out the colours, worked in with the costume department, provided the skeleton. So generally everything that was in the script we either built or got for nothing. The first thing we did is read the script, and then we had a meeting with Joel and Ben and we went through the script bit by bit. Joel and Ben are quite visual themselves, and they had already commissioned the storyboard images. Plus we also looked at reference pictures like the Goonies and The War, you know, other kids' movies of that kind, Stand By Me, which gave us a feeling along the lines that they wanted to go, and I sent images from those pictures to the other people in the art department, and we kind of worked along those viewpoints. But I always love to work to a storyboard, and the storyboards that they've done, or had done, pretty much lay it out, you know, and we're still working to that storyboard now. So we shared a whole lot of ideas back and forwards, and then we just went into the sort of planning and organising stage, which basically I was the hunter-gatherer and got the materials, and he did the construction, and then we had Tessa and Andrew on board doing the props buying, and Vanessa organising bikes and doing some of the key props. So we're resetting the graveyard for night number 2 with our wonderful little mud map. All the gravestones are marked with numbers, and we've got our map and we'll set them.
My name's Andrew Bailey, and I'm working as an art department assistant. So I've basically been concerned with standby props, which is kind of dealing with the actors and if they need a bag or they need a shovel, or we're using bikes, torches, stuff like that. Making sure they've got it all when they do a take, resetting all those props so that they're all ready to go exactly the same way they were before. Constantly paying attention to the way they're wearing a bag, or the, you know, if they're carrying a shovel, did they have it on the left-hand side or the right-hand side? So it's about paying attention.
Probably one of the things we had not trouble with, but we had to work to, was the locations. Because the locations weren't locked in, we can't go and build the arch for the gateway because we don't have the gateway, and the one we picked may already have one there. So that stuff doesn't get built until, and same with the tree. So, you know, although we may be aware of what we've got to build here, until we get the locations, we can't get the tape measure out. It's pointless.
I sort of drew the treehouse. I've done a few other ones in the past, so we drew the treehouse based on the tree that was chosen by Joel and Ben, and we just adjusted the look of the treehouse to fit into the tree.
There's also a lot of designing it around materials that we get for nothing.
Yeah.
You know, it's no point designing something that's going to cost us a fortune to get all the materials. We looked at what we could get at a reasonable price, what we had on hand that we didn't have to pay for, and Paddy basically drew it up around what we could get for nothing.
That's roughly what it looks like at this point. Because we've been out to the tree and assembled the panels and done sketches of it, and it's sort of, at this point, from that angle, it looks like that. Well, strangely enough, this freeform treehouse that kind of developed is probably a purer form of design. But if we had the money, we'd probably go a little bit further with the interior look of it, make it a little bit more interesting visually. Also
more user-friendly in terms of filming. You know, like it's have removable panels, a lot more things are just easier to work with.
We built one treehouse to serve 2 locations. So normally, I think what Peter and I would do is build 2 tree houses, one that was perfect for the studio and one that was perfect for location.
The one that's in the studio is both interior and exterior, and it's got to be made in such a way that we can comfortably get it up without cranes. It's all in pieces. It's a bit of an engineering feat, and simply because we've got resources to work with.
Production design is always a balancing act. You know, it's always a matter of compromise. It's always a matter of balance. And I think, you know, arriving at a compromise. It's always a compromise with budget, especially on a lower budget film, but even on a high budget film. So for me personally, the hardest point is modifying, you know, my ideas to the realities of what we're doing. But that is in the job description.